Strikeouts are at an all-time high in Major League Baseball.
Struck him out! 103!
Our pitchers becoming too dominant for their own good. The game has changed dramatically with
Good luck. You were talking about pitch tunneling and this.
pitchers throwing faster with more movement than ever before. In 2010, Aroldis Chapman shocked the world and set a record with a 105.8 mile per hour fastball. A feat that seemed superhuman at the time. Now, triple-digit velocities are becoming more common, leading to soaring strikeout rates and plummeting batting averages. As the balance between pitching and hitting shifts, we baseball fans were left wondering, is this evolution of pitching changing baseball for better or for worse? Let's go. In 2008, the average MLB fastball clocked in at 90.9 miles per hour. Fast forward to today, and that number has skyrocketed to over 94 miles per hour. This dramatic shift in velocity didn't happen by accident. It's actually the result of a fundamental change in how baseball views pitching, with an increased focus on speed. The rise of the flamethrower has been swift and decisive. What was once considered exceptional is now the bare minimum for entry into the big leagues. This rapid revolution has transformed the game, creating a new breed of pitcher that would have been unimaginable just a few decades ago. And at the heart of this velocity revolution are groundbreaking advancements in training techniques and technology, right? Pitchers are throwing smarter, not just harder. High-tech pitching labs have sprung up across the country, equipped with tools like high-speed cameras and biomechanical analysis software. These allow pitchers to optimize their delivery for maximum speed and control. One example is Ron Wolforth's Texas Baseball Ranch. Since 2006, the ranch has trained over 200 players to throw 90 miles per hour or more, effectively showcasing how these new training methods are focusing on developing the entire kinetic chain. MLB teams have fully embraced this approach, altering their scouting and player development strategies. Philadelphia Phillies president of baseball operations Dave Dombrowski noted, "People are fascinated with velocity. It's a way of entertaining the fans." The number of major league pitches clocked at 100 miles per hour and faster more than tripled from 1,056 in 2019 to 3,348 in 2022. The entire spectrum of pitching velocity has shifted upwards. However, this pursuit of velocity comes at a cost, with Tommy John surgeries and other arm injuries becoming more common. Despite these risks, the trend continues. Tom House, a noted pitching coach, predicts that in the next 5 to 8 years, most pitchers to sign a pro contract are going to have to show 97, 98, and even touch 101 or 102. And now onto the second portion of the pitching equation. While velocity captures the headlines, we have radar guns showing up in the stadium with 101 on the radar. Another transformation has been loudly reshaping baseball. Teams have found ways to turn ordinary pitches and pitchers into devastating weapons without adding a single mile per hour. That secret is spin rate. It measures how many times a baseball rotates per minute after leaving a pitcher's hand. This concept has profound effects on a pitch's movement and effectiveness. A high-spin fastball appears to rise, while a high-spin breaking ball drops more sharply or moves, making it harder to track and hit. And for years, teams kept the spin rate data private. The Houston Astros were among the first to fully embrace spin rate analytics, using it to identify and develop pitchers with high spin potential. But in 2015, StatCast made spin rate data publicly available. And that allowed us data analytics nerds to really deep dive into spin rate. Everyone could see that some pitchers were achieving insane results due to their ability to generate high spin rates. And this sparked a new arms race, no pun intended, in baseball, with teams scrambling to find and develop pitchers who can maximize their spin. And you can really see this in pitch selection. Breaking balls, particularly sliders and cutters, have become more prevalent. The percentage of fastballs thrown have dropped from 62.5% in 2015 to about 56% in 2024 as pitchers rely more on high spin breaking pitches. This sweeper has emerged as a notable development. Pitchers like Nestor Cortez of the New York Yankees have found success with the sweeper. Devin Williams with the airbender pitch seems to defy gravity. Spin has changed how pitchers approach their craft. Now, many focus on optimizing the shape and movement of their pitches. These pitching labs that we were talking about use high-speed cameras and advanced analytics to help pitchers fine-tune their grip and release point for ideal spin rates. And of course, this emphasis on spin has made hitting much more challenging. Batters are hitting just 221 against spin pitches compared to 274 against slower fastballs. And some pitchers, like Jordan Hicks, combine high velocity with elite spin rates, creating pitches that are nearly unhittable. But at what cost? The rate of Tommy John surgeries has increased by a third since 2015, with nearly half the hardest throwers in the MLB affected. And this surge isn't just impacting older players. Young stars like Shohei Ohtani have required multiple procedures. Dr. Glenn Fleissig, biomechanics research director at the American Sports Medicine Institute, explains the more velocity you have, the more stress it puts on joints, ligaments, etc. This simple truth shows baseball's injury crisis. As pitchers throw harder with more spin, they're pushing their bodies to the absolute limit and often beyond. Young pitchers are now encouraged to maximize velocity from an early age, often at the expense of their long-term health. This win-now mentality has created a system where pitchers are viewed as almost disposable assets. Teams quickly replace injured arms with fresh talent, perpetuating a cycle of strain and injury. In 2024, teams used 32.5 pitchers per season. Go back just 20 years and teams used around 22 on average, a whole 10 less pitchers per year. In 2023, starting pitchers averaged just 5.1 innings per outing, a significant decline from previous eras. This trend towards shorter, more intense appearances means pitchers are often throwing with maximum effort every time they take the mound. While this may lead to more strikeouts and lower ERAs in the short term, it's taking a toll on pitchers' bodies. There are ethical questions surrounding these issues. Teams invest millions in player development and expect results. Pitchers, eager to make their mark in the big leagues, push themselves to throw harder and nastier pitches. But when does the pursuit of performance become exploitation? Some teams are using advanced biomechanics and technology to identify potential injury risks before they become serious. However, the effectiveness of these methods in reducing injury rates remains to be seen. The rise of weighted ball training has been linked to increased velocity, but it also raises concerns about long-term arm health. It's becoming clear that the human body may be reaching its pitching limits. And this current trend of maximizing velocity and spin rates at all costs is unsustainable. Something's gonna have to give. Either pitchers will need to dial back their intensity, or the sport will need to find new ways to protect its players from the physical toll of modern pitching. And this arms race in pitching, no pun intended again, has created an unfortunate casualty: the art of hitting. With batters struggling to keep pace, the MLB batting average has nosedived to 243 in 2024. So how did we get here? What does this mean for the future of America's pastime? Cleveland Guardians manager Stephen Vogt summed up the situation saying, "I feel like every year is the hardest time it's ever been to hit. With fewer balls put into play, the game has become less dynamic, with long stretches of inaction punctuated by occasional bursts of excitement. Hitters and coaches have attempted to adapt. The focus has shifted to launch angle and exit velocity, with batters trying to maximize their chances of hitting home runs when they do make contact. This all-or-nothing approach has led to more power numbers, but at the cost of consistent hitting. The gap between pitchers and hitters continues to widen. The difference between actual batting averages and expecting batting averages has grown, indicating that even when batters make good contact, they're often robbed of hits by superior defensive positioning and athleticism. Soft contact percentage continues to increase, contributing to lower batting averages across the league. As run scoring declines, down 0.23 runs per game compared to last season, it's clear that the balance between offense and defense has shifted dramatically. The average team is now recording just 8.2 hits per game, one of the lowest marks in modern history, compared to 9.28 in 2006. The question now facing baseball is whether this trend is sustainable or even desirable. While pitching dominance can be thrilling to watch, the lack of offense could potentially alienate fans who crave more action and higher scoring games. And so ultimately, the impact of pitching dominance directly impacts fan experience. With less action on the field, attendance figures and TV ratings have stagnated, raising concerns about the sport's long-term viability with young fans. Major League Baseball has implemented several rule changes to address these challenges, including the introduction of the pitch clock and restrictions on defensive shifts. Despite these efforts, the offensive drought persists, with teams scoring significantly fewer runs per game compared to previous seasons. So will further rule changes be necessary to inject more excitement into the game, or will fans adapt to this new era of baseball? While traditionalists argue for preserving the game's fundamental nature, others believe the sport must evolve to remain exciting for modern audiences. Proposals could include lowering the pitching mound and implementing a minimum innings requirement for starting pitchers. These changes aim to give hitters a better chance and encourage pitchers to focus on efficiency rather than maximum velocity. An MLB executive noted, a 6-inning minimum rule could help restore the balance of the game. However, such alterations would require significant impact to pitching strategies and could face resistance. The influence of analytics on baseball's future cannot be ignored. Advanced metrics have shaped team strategies and contributed to the current imbalance. Any rule changes must account for how teams might adapt their own data-driven approaches in response. As Major League Baseball explores these options, preserving the sport's appeal remains paramount. Baseball's unique blend of strategy, skill, tradition, and data must be carefully balanced against the need for change. The challenge lies in finding solutions that address current issues while maintaining the essence of America's pastime. So what do you think? Are pitchers too good at pitching? Let us know in the comments and check out more videos right here. We'll see you next time.